Okay, so we are picking up on Nun Gimel Amud Aleph. We are only because I just counted it. It's like 17 lines from the bottom. I don't know what that helps anyone, but there's two dots over there. So we're starting from the two dots. So the Gemara says at that point, the Mishnah said, that you're not able to make a bracha on the flame or on the besam. Again, we're talking about right now for the mitzvah for Havdalah. So we said that you're not supposed to make a bracha on the spices or on the candles of a non-Jew, either of a non-Jew or of a. I'm sorry. Start over. We don't make a bracha on the candle of the besamim of a dead person. Okay, so we're not talking about for non-Jews. Now we're talking about for someone that had died and they had spices there, they had candles that were there. So you're not able to use that to make the bracha for Havdalah. So Gemara says, my time, and what's the reason they're not able to? The Gemara says, Ner lekavod Davida, because the reason why is because the candle, like we said earlier, the candle is not there. It was not lit for illumination, but it was there for honor. It was lit to honor the dead person. So therefore, you can't make a bracha on that for ner. And besamim lavude reicha du Davidi. The reason why they have the besamim there is not again because they want people to smell the besamim, but it's more to alleviate the smell of the dead body that's there. So that's why you can't make a bracha on that. When it says I'm Rav Yehuda Rav. Anytime that you had a funeral and they would be carrying the person who had passed away, and they would light candles for him, whether the funeral took place during the day or the night. Okay, meaning like they were doing it, they would light candles even during the daytime. In that situation, you are not able to light the candle, you are not able to make a bracha, even if they were doing it at night and they lit the candles. So obviously they're also using it for illumination, but because they would have lit the candles during the day also, because he's the type of person that they wanted to have a great pomp and circumstance when they're doing the funeral, so you would not be able to make a bracha on that candle. And and anyone who they would only light candles for him if it was at night. But if the funeral was taking place during the day, they would not light candles for him. Then you are able to make a bracha on that, because they're in that situation when they're lighting the candles, they're doing it for illumination and not because they wanted to honor the person. Amar Rav Huna, if you have fragrances, that you would have spices that they would put into the bathrooms because they wanted to again, freshen up the place. If you had like Febreze, I guess, yeah, well, not match. Oh, yes, mask deodorant. I thought you said match deodorant. That would. I was saying that's not a great spice. But anyway, Amar Rav Huna, the Psalm basically says, so you have these spices that they had in the bathrooms, the shemen ha'asi lahavri asazuma, or it had the oil that they used at the end of the meals to that they would wipe their hands with it to get the food off. You're not able to make a bracha on it. And again, the reason why is because the main focus, the main purpose of the besamim or of the oil at that time is not because you want your hands to smell nice. You're rubbing your hands with the oil to get off the grime from the food. And when you have the spices in the bathroom, again, the purpose is not because you want to be able to smell the spice that you have in there, but again, it's more to mask the smell of what's in the bathroom. So Gemara says, that if every time you have something, whenever you have a fragrance that is not set just so you should be able to smell it, are you going to say that you're not able to make a bracha on it? So we have a brisa. If someone goes if you have a spice merchant, okay, who was selling different spices, and a person walks into the store to buy, he's going into the store for whatever reason, and he smells the smell of spices, which you will do if you're walking into a spice merchant. Even if the person was in there the entire day and he was smelling spices the entire day, he only makes one bracha when he comes into the store. That's the only bracha he has to make. Nichnas v'yatza, but if he's going in and out of the store, again, let's say he's going into the spice store and then he's going across the street to another store. And then he goes back into the spice store and he goes again, he goes out for another reason. And he keeps going back in. So each and every time he has to make a bracha each and every time that he enters the spice store. So Gemara asks a question now. You said before that if you have a spice that's, for example, in the bathroom, or it's by a dead person, that you don't make a bracha on it because it's not meant for smelling. Over here, the smell over there is not set aside for people to smell. The guy's smelling spices, but he's not like putting it out there so people should smell it. And still, we said that you make a bracha on it. Whether you make a bracha one time if you're in there the whole day, or if you make it each and every time that you go in and out, but you're supposed to make a bracha every time. So where it says, he says you're wrong. because the spice merchant does want people to smell it. He wants to have people walk by the store and say, "Oh my gosh, that smells great," and then they're going to want to come into the store because they smell that great smell. So he really does want people to smell it. It is similar to, and this is not joking. They have in the pizza shops, like in New York, like they'll have fans that are blowing the smell of pizza out into the streets, so that people smell the smells of the pizza, and that it gets them interested in what oh, that smells great. And they want to be able to go in and eat pizza. So by the same token, the spice merchant, yes, he's smelling spices. So he doesn't have it out so that people should smell it. His main purpose is really so that he should sell it. But he does want people to smell it, because when they smell it, it's going to entice them to want to come in and to purchase the merchandise. Next, Gemara brings a brayso, Tan Rabbanon, if someone was walking outside of a city, and then he smells a smell. So if most of the people that live in the city are not Jewish, you cannot make a bracha. And Imrov Yisrael, but if most of them are Jewish, then you are able to make a bracha. So the reason why that if most of the people are not Jewish, you can't make a bracha, is because we assume, Rashi says that since you're able to smell it from so far outside the city, it must be, what are you smelling? There must be some big party that's going on. And if there's a party that's going on, we assume that the main purpose of the party in those days was for idol worship. Again, and it's sometimes hard for us to understand, because we don't really have that. Certainly not in our society. We definitely don't have it. I mean, there are parts of the world that do, but this whole concept of idol worship, we don't do that. Aside, the television and sports and whatever else, you could fill in your avodah zarah, but the concept of worshiping an idol, we really don't have that nowadays. But in those days, if they would have a big party, you could assume that, and non-Jews were doing it, you could assume that they were doing a party for avodah zarah, so therefore you're not allowed to make a bracha on the light that you're seeing, because it's not a light for illumination, it's a light that's being used for avodah zarah.
Buddhist temples.
What?
Buddhist temples have.
Yeah, and I was saying there are parts of the world that still do have idol worship, but here, like in
They burn incense.
What?
They burn incense.
Yeah, same thing. Also, both incense and they have lights. I'm not. My experience with the Buddhist religion is limited. So, yeah. From your dad, I guess your father, when you travel around, he would. Yeah. Okay. So anyway, so we said that, but if it's mainly non-Jews, you're not able to make a bracha. But if it's mainly Jews, then you are able to make a bracha. In Rav Yisrael Mavarach, then you could do it. Rabbi Yossi argues, and he says even if it's mainly Jews and you see a light from far away, you are not able to make a bracha on it. Why? Filu Rav Yisrael Nami Ein Mavarach, you don't do it. Because the Jewish women in those days would use the light, somehow they would use it for sorcery. They would have some sort of witchcraft that they'd be doing, and therefore you're not able to use it either, because it's not the light is not being used is not being used for illumination. They would use it to drive away these bad spirits that were hovering around. So Gemara says, why can't you do it? If most of the residents of the city are Jewish, so are you going to say that most of the light that you're seeing is because the women are doing this witchcraft and this sorcery? Well, that's not it's a minority. Why wouldn't you be able to still make a bracha on it, on the light? On the smell. So Gemara says, because the truth is that even though only a minority of women are doing it for sorcery and for witchcraft, there are also a minority of people that are doing it because when they would launder in those days, the way that they would make the clothes smell fresh, they wouldn't have that tied, fresh smell. So the way that they would make it smell fresh is they would have some sort of spice that they would light underneath the clothing, and that would make the clothes smell fresher. So since you have one minority is doing it for witchcraft, one minority is doing it so that they could make the clothes smell better. It turns out if you start adding up all the minorities together, then you're going to have that they're going to make up a majority. So therefore, you are not able to make a bracha on that besamim. And again, the rule that we said when we first started learning this Gemara is that if the main purpose of the besamim, of the smell, or the main purpose of the light is not for illumination, or it's not so that you could be able to smell it, you do not make a bracha on it. So because the majority of the people that are doing it are not doing it for the purpose of smelling it, so that they should smell good, but they're doing it either for witchcraft or to make their clothing smell good, so therefore you're not able to, you don't make a bracha on it. Amar Rav Chia bar Rava, Amar Rabbi Yochanan. Hamahalach ba'arbe Shabbosos b'Tiveria over Matzah Shabbosos b'Tzipori. If someone's walking on Erev Shabbos in Tiveria or on Matzah Shabbos in Tzipori, ve'riach reach, and he smell a smell, so then Eino Mevarach, you are not able to make a brach on it for the same reason. Mipnei shechazkaso Eino asoi ele legam b'bos hakelim. The reason why they're doing it was not so that people should be able to smell the smell, but the reason why they were doing was because it was in order to make their clothes smell better. So again, it was not. There was a purpose to the besamim. It wasn't just so you should be able to smell it. So you do not make a brach on it. Tan Rabbanan. The next brayta says, "Hay mahalach b'shuk shel avodas l'chavim." Someone was walking in a shuk that was in a marketplace that was filled with avodah zara. Nisratza le'ariach, and a person had intent when he's walking in that marketplace and he smells the incense that's burning and he wants to smell it. So harizechote, he is considered to be a sinner because he is intentionally participating and enjoying some aspect of avodah zara. Turning to Nun Gimel Amud Beis. Turning to that is the end of that Gemara. The next part of the Mishnah said so that you're not able to make a bracha on the flame when you're making Havdalah until you're able to actually get hana, you're able to get benefit from the light that's there. So so the Gemara is going to discuss now. Does it mean that you actually have to get benefit from the nair, or does it mean that if you would be standing close enough to the candle, you would have been able to get benefit? If you remember your days in yeshiva, or if you go somewhere and you got like a whole bunch of people that are like in a room like this, and they hold up the candle by the bima. Okay, so what does everyone do? They say Barim Eish, and no one sticks their hands up like in there. You're not able to see that. You're not able to see the flame against your fingers, which we'll discuss. That's what you're supposed to be doing. So the answer is because if you were standing close enough, then you would be able to get benefit from the light. So that's what the Gemara is going to talk about now. Rav Yudam Rav. Lo yeosu yeus mamish. It doesn't mean that you actually have to be able to get benefit from the flame. Ela kol she'ilu omid bekarov mishtamish la'ora. But if someone was standing close enough to the flame and he was able to get enjoyment from, he was able to benefit from the illumination that's taking place from the flame. Even if he is standing far away, then still you're able to make the bracha on it. So again, if I'm over here and they're making Havdalah by the bima and they're holding up the flame, I'm able to, even if I may not be able to get to see it on my fingers, but because it's a large enough flame that if I was closer, I would be able to. You're able to make the Barim Eish on that bracha, on that light. Ravashi also says similar, that we're talking about where someone is standing in a place far away from the light, and he himself does not get benefit from it, but still you're able to make the bracha on that. So Gemara asks, Meisvei, we'll ask you a question from a brayso. If someone had a flame that was hidden in his lap or in his lantern, I guess it's obvious he's talking about where it's he's not being burnt. I don't know what container he has the flame in, but he's not able to, let's say he put it in some sort of metal container where the flame's not going to go out, and he's using it not because he wants to light, but because he's using it to warm himself. Okay, or you have a lantern. Let's say you saw a flame, but you do not use you're not using the light from it. So let's say you saw you used the illumination, but you're not able to see the source of the fire. So in all those cases, you are not able to make a bracha on it. The only time that you can make the bracha is when you actually see the coal or the source of the illumination, and you are able to get benefit from the light. So the Gemara is going to explain this now. So Bishlam and Mishtamesh La'ora, V'lo shall have us. What's the case talking about where you're able to use the light, but you're not able to see the actual source of the flame? What's that talking about? Mishkachasla, the Kaimala Mekaran Zavis. Let's say, for example, a person is walking. Let's say a person's walking on the side of a building, and someone else is coming from around the corner from the other side of the building, and he has a torch in his hand. So the person walking the person walking not on the side that has the flame, he's able to get benefit from the light. You see the light that's coming out from around the corner, but even though you don't actually see the source of the light, you don't see the torch, you don't see the match, you don't see the candle, but you're still getting benefit from the fact that you can see the light that's coming out. So that's talking. So we can understand the case where a person was able to see the light but didn't see the source when he was going around the corner. How do we have a case where you're able to see the source of the illumination? You can see the candle, but you're not going to get any benefit from the light. What is that case talking about? Gemara says, so it must be lav de merchaka. Are we not talking about a case where, again, like let's say in our example here, I'm standing over here, Havdalah is being made over there, and the candle is being held up by the bima. So even though I could see it, I could see the candle that's being held up, but I'm not able to get any benefit from the illumination from the candle. So you see that's a question on Rav Yehuda Amar Rav, who said that even if you're far away, but if you'd be close enough, you would be able to make the bracha. When it says lo, you could go into Amiyah v'Azor. We're talking about a case where the person saw the source. You have a candle, but like a candle, right? As Hanukkah candles, you light the Hanukkah candle, and as it's going out, it gets weaker. In the beginning, when you light it, the whole room is lit up from the candle, and then as it burns more and more, it gets weaker and weaker. So you could see the source of the light. You could see the candle right there, but the illumination is so dim right now that you're really not getting any benefit from it. So that's the case. So really, if I was far away and I was able to, and if I was standing closer, I'd be able to get benefit from it. You could make a brach on it. But here we're talking about where you could see that they're holding up the candle, but it's like a very weak, you can make out a flame, but if you were standing right there, you'd have to squint to be able to see anything from it. And the Gemara is going to explain what you have to be able to see in order to, when you're using a candle. Tan Rabbanan, Gechalim lo chashos. If you have coals that were glowing on Matzah Shabbos, mevarchan alem, you are able to make a bracha on them to Bari Maresh. You can use it for Havdalah. Omamos, but if you see that they're dimming, like we were just talking about before, then you are not able to make a bracha on it. So the Gemara wants to understand what is this talking about if you had glowing coals. What is that referring to? What does it mean if you had something that was glowing? That if you would stick in a splinter into the coals, like a little small piece of wood, and it would still ignite from the coals, then that's considered like it's still enough illumination that you'd be able to make a bracha on it. And now just going off on a tangent, the Gemara asks, Sibailahu. We said before, omamos, that if it's dimming, then you're not able to make a bracha on it. So Gemara just asks, omamos o omamos? Is it omamos with an aleph, or is it omamos with an ayin? Because again, remember, the Gemara was not written down in those days, so they're just inquiring, what was the correct spelling of the word? So he said, Tashma Adam Rav Chizda bar Avidimi Arazim lo Amamahu began Elokim, that the cedars are not going to diminish him anymore when he's by Hashem. So, and it was spelled with an ayin, so that's what it's talking about. Okay, so that's what the Gemara says so far, that to have the illumination, it's enough that you're going to be able to see it, even if you're far away, but if you're close and you're able to get benefit from it, then that's going to be enough. So now we're going to have Rava is going to argue on that. For Rava Amar, Rava argues and he says, Yasu Mamish, when it says that you have benefit, when the Mishnah said that you're not able to make a bracha on the candle, Ad Yasu, until you get benefit, it means you actually have to get benefit. You can't be standing far away. You have to be close enough that you're getting benefit right now. It's not enough for me to stand over here and hold my hands up and just because everyone else is doing it, so therefore it's good. I've got to be close enough that when I'm holding up my hands to that candle, that I'm able actually to get benefit from what's going on. So Gemara says, how close do you have to be in order to be able to make the bracha? So Amar Ula, Kadesh Yakir ben Isar Lepundan. In order to be able, there's two types of coins. There was a coin that was called an Isar. There was another coin that was called a Pundion, and they were very similar in their appearance. So you have to be able to have enough light that you could tell the difference between these two similar coins. That's what you need in order to be able to make a bracha. Chizkiya Amar Kadesh Yakir ben Milmuza Shel Tiveria Lemilmuza Shel Tzipori. You have to be able to tell the difference between this Milmuza, which was a type of weight measurement that they had. So you have to be able to tell these two different types of weights, which again were similar from different places. You have to be able to tell the difference between the two weights. We'll just finish up one more piece of Gemara and then we'll stop. Rav Yehuda mevarich adchi ada dalya. Rav Yehuda would make the bracha when he would see the house of Ada Dalya, which was very far away from him. But remember, he held that if you're far away, but if you were close, you would have been able to get benefit from the light. You can make the bracha. So he would make the bracha when he would see the light on in the house of this Ada Dalya, which was far away from him. Rava mevarich advei Gurya ben Chama. Rava, who holds that you have to actually benefit from the light, he would only make a bracha when he would see a light that was lit in the house of Gurya ben Bar Chama, which was close to him. Because again, Rava holds you need to actually be able to get benefit from the light. Abai mevarich adchi baravua, and Abai would make a bracha when he would see light from the house of Baravua, and it's not clear. They didn't know how far this house was from Abai, so we don't know. Was he going like Rav Yehuda, or was he going like Rav? We don't know if it was far away or if it was close. And last piece of the Gemara, Rav Yehuda, Rav, you are not obligated to go find a candle, to go find a light, like we do for other mitzvahs, when you're making Havdalah, okay? Because again, the bracha of Havdalah, well, we're going to say Amar Rav Zera, why? Reish Hava Maradana, and it used to be that initially that I would search after, I would go to find the bracha in order to be able to do it. Kivim the Shamla Hada Rav Yehuda Marav. Once he said that you're not have to do it, I also don't go looking after a flame. But if I happen to come upon a flame, then I'll make a flame. But again, the reason why is because Bari Mara'esh is not a chiyuv that you have to do, but it's really just like we said, it's a remembrance for the fact that fire was created on Matzah Shabbos. So if you're not able to find it, then you do not have to make the bracha. Okay, we will stop here, and I believe Rabbi Silber's back Monday night giving shir again.